I personally approve the decision to seek a search warrant in this.
Howdy, friends and neighbors.
Wow, it just shut itself off. There it is.
All right, has anyone noticed this trend among some of our government experts lately? It starts off with them telling you a thing. If you question the thing, you will be mocked, ridiculed, and potentially censored. It then turns out later that the thing that they told you wasn't quite as true as they promised you it would be. And when you point this out, they revert to telling you that, well, they never told you the thing that they told you. And then when you show them incontrovertible proof that they did in fact tell you the thing that they told you, they just suggest that you should be mocked, ridiculed, and potentially censored. I can't imagine why we don't trust these guys.
If you're so confused and disoriented that you don't know where you are or where you're going, there are predators of the spirit who are much worse than snakes that are waiting in wait for you. And the probability that you'll move from aimless, hopeless, joyless anxiety to nihilism, corrosive bitterness, and genocidal fantasy in the fundamental extreme is very high. And so that's possession by a predator of the spirit in the desert of the soul. And that's real.
Honey, someone's going to the house. Someone's going to the house. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
I'm going to call the pops. I'm going to call the pops.
We're recording you.
No. It's okay. I'm just your neighbor. Coming by to say howdy.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, we're not used to people stopping by to say howdy without assaulting us first, robbing us, or defecating on our lawn.
Sometimes all three.
The trifecta. We're from Los Angeles.
Just moved to Texas.
I figured.
Oh, the California plates?
Well, yeah, the masks. Inside your own house. No one else around. 2022.
We just want to be extra safe.
We feel naked without masks.
We'll probably wear them for the rest of our lives.
We'll be buried in them.
Okay. Well, you seem like a lovely couple. Like I said, I just wanted to drop by and welcome you to the neighborhood.
Why? Do you want something?
Oh, no. I think he's being friendly. People around here are friendly. Like we've seen in the movies, right?
I thought that was just make-believe, like superheroes or families that go to church.
No. That's a myth. This is real life.
So, I live in that house over yonder. Name's Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. I'm Tiffany. She, her.
And I'm Steve. He, him.
What are your pronouns?
I don't believe in pronouns. I think they're reductive. In fact, just your asking about it is a microaggression.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. I'm just messing with you. I like all pronouns. My favorite is you.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Exactly. So, if you need anything, just holler. My wife and I'd be happy to help.
Baby, he has a gun.
I'm calling the cops.
I'm recording you.
No.
Recording
It's
you.
okay.
Good morning. I'm here to give you an update on the FBI's investigation of Secretary Clinton. What I want to do is tell you what we're recommending. But first, let me tell you what we found. 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined to contain classified information.
What difference at this point does it make?
8 of those chains are top secret. 36 of those chains secret. And 8 contain confidential information.
What difference at this point does it make?
Everything I did was permitted. There was no law, no regulation.
Secretary Clinton should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email.
None of these emails should have been on any kind of unclassified system, not even Gmail.
Well, first of all, nothing was marked classified.
To the contrary.
Nothing was marked classified.
There is evidence of
Nothing was marked classified.
Now let me tell you what we found.
Oh my gosh.
110 emails.
It was not the best choice.
52 email chains.
It was a mistake.
Have been determined to contain classified information.
What difference at this point doesn't make
8 of those chains were top secret.
Wasn't the best choice.
6 of those chains
I said it was a mistake.
8 contain confidential information.
what difference at this point does it make?
With respect to our recommendation, this is going to be an unusual statement in at least a couple of ways. Although there is evidence, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. I know there will be intense public debate. I know there will be intense public debate. I know there will be intense public debate. What difference at this point does it make? 110 emails.
It wasn't the best choice.
52 email chains
I made a mistake.
have been determined to contain classified information.
What difference at this point does it
8
make?
of those chains are
It
top
was not a
secret.
good choice.
6 of those chains
I said it was a mistake.
and 8 contain confidential information.
What difference at this point does it make?
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
It's like ruining a climax. I bounce to that song and then you play that DeSantis one.
It could have been worse, huh?
I hope not.
This- What's going on, everybody?
So what y'all think about the new Bud Light cans?
Oh yeah, ain't that special? Purple M&Ms and Bud Light.
I bet they taste just a little bit sweeter.
Every Anheuser-Busch product tastes like a rotten skeletal mouse to me.
I drank nothing but flat out Budweiser till I was like in my 30s, and it started giving me a headache. And everybody I talked to said, yeah, they call them skull crushers. And once you get in your 30s, they start giving you a headache. And it did. And I don't drink it no more.
Hey, Ragnar. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm drinking a Miller Lite right now. They haven't offended me yet, but they probably will. They'll probably put a picture of Boy George on Miller Lights or something, and I'll go, shit, I got to go to court.
Just think of the secret ingredients.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Those Bud Lights are probably just a little bit sweeter nowadays, aren't they?
here you go. Here's Happy Boy Biden with his favorite drink. Let me put it up here.
I don't know if it'd be hard to beat the one that Ken's got with him in the Newport suit.
That's funny.
Now, there you go. That's the new spokesperson for Budweiser with his favorite pimp.
I wish I could go 300 years ahead in time just to see how history looked back on this period of time. And you know what I mean? Because it's like, what? It's got to be one big giant. What the hell were they thinking?
Everybody's talking about having aliens here, and they're going to come, whatever. They roll our windows up and go on by.
Right.
Hey, Tin.
We're in the hood.
Lisa, baby.
Hey, Lisa. PNW, Nikki, Leslie.
Yeah, I missed everything in chat. Hello, everybody, whoever's there.
Yeah, I forgot to do roll call.
Uh-oh.
55 in chat. Thank y'all for showing up. Thanks, Tin, for supporting everybody and helping everybody. I'm hoping she's seeing some people coming over there when I spread the link and share it and all that. So.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah, I like Dos Equis and Modelo and stuff like that. Grolsch, I remember was drinking as a kid. Then I remember getting the oil cans, the old Foster's Lager.
I like Jim Beam, Monte Alban Mezcal, and Jack Daniels.
Foster's Lager, it looks like a motor oil can. Remember those?
Yeah,
it looks like it's 40 weight or something. You're like, I gotta have that.
We used to call them the old oil cans.
Yeah. Hey, Schlitz used to be good back in the day before they changed the formula, and now you never hear them again. But Schlitz was good beer.
Tried to stay away from anything that sounded like Schlitz or Blatz or,
Oh, I know. Or yeah, or Ralph or Buick.
Got to watch some of the wording now too. They caught Bushcraft for saying shit too many times. He didn't say it, but somebody on his show did, and they struck him for it.
into a barrel of shaving cream.
Right.
They're ridiculous. But you can prance around in a dress and have little children scream at your crotch, and that's cool.
Oh, that's fine now. That's absolutely fine. A 9-year-old or 13-year-old tweaker. They took Tucker Carlson's channel down for that, but at the same time they allow it.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
I like the way I heard one guy put it. How can you give me strikes on YouTube for playing a YouTube video?
There you go.
I don't know who Practical Absolutes is. You got to show me Cam or something. All right.
I must have missed that.
It's going good. It's going good. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Hey, Practical Absolutes.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Hope you all doing well. I'm actually new to this space. I just decided I'd hop on and whatnot and ask a couple questions and get a discussion going.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
Okay, nice. So all right. So does any of you all possibly agree with the notion, or anybody in the chat agree with the notion that that the term black people and the term white people is actually a psyop, a psychological operation?
I think that sometimes things like that can be pushed as a narrative to divide.
Yep, it's a bad thing. We're people. We're Americans, and that's what really should matter. Anything else is separating us.
Yeah, like I definitely agree with that. It's like,
yeah, but we are white people and black people. Yes, we're kind of pink, and most black people are kind of brown. So it doesn't. But I don't see where there's a problem with, distinguishing between us as just people. If I told a story, if I just told a regular old story and I went, and yeah, this one guy was a black guy, so you can, give context to the story, I don't see a problem. I don't.
Okay, I understand that. The way how I'm coming at it is that, so the quote unquote white people that I know who would fit in the category, they will tell me, oh, they're Polish, or they're American, or
oh yeah,
like that. Like I'm more aligned with the idea of going by a nationality or some sort of descent as to where your people are from, instead of saying white and black, because I can't speak for white people, but I know that with black people, it's just that the majority who say that they don't have any clue as to where their lineage lies, whether it be due to the fact that they just want to be trauma bonded to slavery, or whether or not they just don't want to do a simple ancestry test to find out what country they have lineage to. I think I do agree that it's a major thing that's used to divide, and I feel like the way how it's being presented nowadays is only working to benefit the Khazarians and the sick Catholics who actually control the world.
Amen.
And that's been going on for a long time, all my life.
I think, and this is going to sound cliche, but I think all of us who were born in the United States of America are Americans, whether we're black Americans or African American or white Americans or Irish Americans, we're all Americans. We should all be fighting on the same damn team because this is our home. This is where we live.
Yeah, I don't care if you're blue. If you treat me right, I'm going to treat you the same way. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
And the ones that are doing this are all form and flavor.
Right, I agree.
once a person is in America and becomes an American, then that's what they are. I don't see it any other way.
You know the lineage of the Khazarians, right? All of those are a mixture. They went everywhere and blended every race that they went into with their banking and their ripping people off, and they assumed an identity, worked with their. So basically, they separate all of us when they're one.
Exactly. See, they don't see the only color that they see is green. You know, they don't see any other
What can
color.
I call you? What's your handle? I can barely read that on my phone. What's that handle?
Practical Absolute. Just my YouTube channel, small channel. Just trying to get into new spaces.
Absolute. Shorten it down to a vodka flavor. Absolute.
Practical would do.
You know, there's another thing is I think that not only is it used to divide, but I think it's amplified in a fictional way because, you know, I live in Lower Michigan, and I am never treated poorly by any groups and there's a lot of different groups in my area. You know, there's one example I like to talk about is I worked for an upholstery shop down in Pontiac, Michigan, right downtown in the city. And I was the only white guy I saw that whole summer. The entire time I was there, I was the only one. And everybody loved me. I loved everybody else. I got along with everybody, made a lot of friends. And I just could not see.
AJ. Hey, Sean. Sorry about that.
No, sorry. I just want to say that, you know, I don't really see it necessarily in society the way that they portray it in the media.
I agree. Like I work in a hospital, and in the hospital that I work, it's majority quote unquote white people, you know. And the thing is, like I have awesome coworkers, you know, like it's just I'll be having a great time whenever I go there and whatnot. We have excellent conversations about all type of stuff, you know. And like one commonality is that I've seen is that if any line I'm going to draw is probably going to be based off values, you know. See, the thing is that like just like with the Khazarians, for example, they didn't draw a line on color; they drew a line on value. Their value was to deal with with specific Catholics and specific Satanists, quote unquote, to instill a certain order and whatnot. And they're being quite successful with it. If they're being successful in what they're doing, why can't the inverse be? Why can't the same be true for the opposite party? You know. Because when I see it, it's not a party on flat out political lines. It's based off morality and values, you know. So,
yeah, but like they say, you can look at everybody, no matter who they are. Their heart's the same color. Look at everybody; their mind's the same color, but the taint doesn't show when you look at it.
Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones said, and this is prolific, but not prolific. It's very smart, I think. He said the eyes are the whore of all your senses. Yep. And you think about that because you could meet somebody and they could be a different color from you, but if you're blind, you don't freaking know. You know, what about the girl you meet? You know, what about anything? You know, your eyes see one thing and then it, you know, projects something else or whatever, you know, right off the bat, you might get the wrong, you know, idea about a person, you know, but you take your eyes away, and then all the color goes away.
The eyes are also the gateway to the soul. So,
right? Oh, yeah, the windows to the soul. Yeah.
Well said. And it's like, see, when it comes down to the things that's going on in the Middle East right now, it seems as though the Khazarians are getting closer and closer to rebuilding Solomon's temple. You know, the same place where they got all those books from under his chair. On his throne, you know, with all their magic tricks and stuff like that. And I do believe that an aspect of magic is used when it comes to the brainwashing that's been instilled on the masses as it relates to color.
Did you say Assyrians? Is that
Khazarians?
No, Khazarians.
Khazarian.
Never heard of a Khazarian. That's why I asked you. What, Assyrian or Sumerian?
They were exiled out of Russia. They existed.
Khazarian Jews.
They even existed.
The Jews that are not Jews but are of their father Satan.
Yeah, they're individuals who decided to claim Judaism. Sorry.
Absolutely. I think you're going to fit right in around here. How'd you find us?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so like honestly, man, like I just been looking around. I go on different panels, and I'm actually surprised that I found you all because just today I was all like, cause like I'll be on other panel talks and it'd be like black panels, but a lot of times we don't talk about political stuff. We talk about like frankly bullshit. Yeah, sometimes it's fun to talk about stuff and be all jolly, but nobody wants to talk about the Nord Stream pipeline and how America blew that shit up, or no one wants to talk about the Khazarians, or no one wants to talk about how like Ukrainian Nazis are like burning people on crosses and stuff on tape. Nobody cares about that. It seems as though in the black sphere.
You
So
know
I
what,
just
man? You found the right
look around.
place.
Yeah,
Yep.
you found the right place.
You're in the right place, man.
Completely, man. Because we don't care what color anybody is.
If you
No.
do content or anything, drop your link in the channel. We'll
Yeah.
sub.
Drop your
We'll
link.
be there.
Oh, you guys are
Absolutely.
awesome. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Just check
I
you
was
out. Everybody has a voice, man. Everybody around
well,
the
just
world has a voice.
I can't hear Grumpy.
Grumpy, you're chopping up, man.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Grumps. I love you, Grumps, but I'm being honest. And I love the kitty, though. You know, I'm partial to kitties.
just for the record, I'm a Messianic Jew.
That's cool.
Threw
Okay.
that one on you, didn't I? Yeah.
No,
That's what,
no. I mean, I'm glad. I'm sure you're not.
I know,
Just
Jed.
to be clear, I
I
want
wasn't,
everybody to know that I'm an
Hang on.
American.
I wasn't born Jewish, but I went on a quest looking for God, and I found him. And I found him through reading the Bible. And the reason I say I'm a Messianic Jew is I believe everything the Jews believed in the Old Testament, but I believe the New Testament as well, and Christ is my Lord and Savior. Okay? So I identify as a Jew that believes in Christ. And it's as simple as that. I believe in the whole Bible, the whole thing, from
That's
beginning
cool.
to the end. Yeah.
I mean,
There you go.
yeah, and really, who cares?
Yeah, I have no
I'm
problem
just saying. I don't mean that.
Well,
mean.
I'm glad to
don't.
know, Agent J, aren't you? Because our sponsors got
Well,
Jesus and the
yeah.
Holy
I mean, I'm
Spirit,
glad
so
to
I
know
like that.
you believe in Christ, but other than that, I don't. Well, religion is your own personal thing.
I'm going to say
Right.
hello to
Yeah, I feel that.
Jack, independent, many united.
You
And it's
know,
like if I may, right? Like I mean,
but
I'm aligned with the Abrahamic faiths as well. I personally think that yeah, you should be free to express your religion, but I will say this though: the individuals who don't express a religion, like any kind of way, they have a religion nonetheless. You know, if someone says, "Oh, I don't believe in religion," their God may be something in the worldly, like dollars or booze. You know?
There's no atheist in the foxhole.
Yeah, I agree.
no.
I
Yeah,
wasn't going
there's
to come up. I was just going to listen, but I come up to say absolute. You sound younger. You sound younger, and glad to have you on here because I think your brain is opened up to the real shit that's going on.
Thank you, sir. I'm 24 years old.
wow.
Just a couple years younger than
You
my
have
son.
wisdom. You have wisdom for being 24, my friend.
Yeah, I just realized that all the BS is going on, so I wanted to spread my horizon and speaking with people and start filling out more Form 4s and Form 1s.
I can't speak for everybody, but we're glad to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody can see
Absolutely.
hate or see love when they focus from a point of hate.
I agree.
We're really about just truth, yo, right?
Yep.
Trying to be, and you're hanging around the right people. Seems like we got a job to do to educate the younger.
As Americans, we're all on common ground.
Well said.
We should be. We should be.
My
We should.
program today got one more person that understands and that hears what we say.
Yeah, like
If I
really,
may,
I subscribe to the Nice Ladies 10 channel, and I subscribe to this channel. I'm definitely happy that I found you guys.
I'm
You're
glad
welcome.
you found us too, because I
He's
know
not
what you're
nice.
talking about. I search around and I know, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like I see that, and there's very cliquish communities out there, and they're got all these viewers, and they're just talking about dumb stuff or trashing on other folks or just I don't get it, but
She's not nice, absolutely. Don't let her fool you. She's not nice.
wait a minute, I am really
I'm
nice.
picking.
Nice. You got
Only
claws.
until you piss me off. Yeah, no, really. I try to be fair. Hey, Grumpy's back.
Wait,
Any
can you hear
better?
me now?
A little better
Better?
connection.
A little better? Okay.
Kind of muffled.
Cool.
He always sounds like he's underwater. That poor cat. He can't breathe.
Oh my God! They killed Grumpy. You bastards!
Sean, it's nice to have you up on the panel too.
I know.
No cat.
I wanted to thank you guys for welcoming me up, and absolutely, you found a good group for a knowledge base, and the divide and conquer technique works when they can check you off into a box. That's why on all these law enforcement forms, they want to. The second you check one of those boxes, white, black, or the other, they actually have laws that apply to those boxes. So don't fall under any black laws or color of law. That was their first obvious way to distract everybody. You know,
Like literally,
everyone gets
like
the same law.
Like, bro, like my concealed carry weapons permit, I clicked unknown for my race. Like, I'm literally, like, I can't identify. I mean, I understand that some black people want to identify as black, some white people want to identify as white, but me personally, like, I have ethnic ties to Somalia and I'm American. So the thing is that like, I'm identifying as an American, I'm identifying as ethnic Somali. Nothing identify as quote unquote black. That literally means I don't know where the hell I'm from. In my eyes.
Yeah, I'm really.
That makes sense. I never thought about that.
Hey, I'm 6% black, man.
All of us Americans
Yeah,
are.
I'm 12% Caucasian. I'm 12% Irish, actually.
Yeah, no, seriously, man. And I didn't even do the DNA test. My brother and sister did, and they both came back 6% black. And so I just didn't do it because I wasn't into that shit. But just want to let you know.
All of us Americans, Americans are mutts.
Facts.
We're mutts.
Muddy Americans.
We're all mutts.
Only thing I know what about half of me is, and that's half Czechoslovakian, and I never met my grandparents, so I don't know exactly where they are. And a friend of mine I worked with, his dad was from Nazi Germany, and he said, you know, your family could have actually been German and went to Czechoslovakia when they fled World War One. So
could have been.
Well, I'm half Scottish and half American Indian, so neither one of my ancestors wore pants.
On that box, don't check none of your effing business, because I did that and it didn't turn out too good.
I am French, Irish, and American. No, French, Irish, Scotch Irish. That's what it is. I'm French, Scotch Irish. So my French side says, I wonder if I could call myself a Franco-American. We make really good canned spaghetti.
Then I got some kind of American Indian, then some kind of Scottish or Irish. I can't remember exactly what it was now. And it's like half's one thing and the other side's mutt.
Man, we're all mutts. We're all mutts. All of us. So if you're in America or Australia, for that matter.
Oh, Australia's way worse. Hold on, dude. Australia is like
definitely more mixed.
You're really close to inbred there. Just saying.
Does anybody know what WAP is? Because that's what I'm probably half or three-quarters.
It's such a
WAP.
strange thing.
I'm
now.
hearing
How in the
banjos.
world do you get a breed of dog? How in the world do you get like a boxer? You breed two other dogs to make.
I don't know.
So it's really kind of, it all comes from the wolf.
And they all come. That's the thing. That's the thing. Hold on a second. They all come from wolves. So how do you get a Chihuahua out of a wolf? How much?
With a prairie dog.
How much? Right, with a prairie dog, Glenn Cooper or something.
Yeah.
Very carefully.
Yeah, I don't have that answer.
How do they come from a wolf? How do you get a? Have you ever seen a Maltese that looks like a tiny little lamb? How do you get that with curly white hair? How do you get that from a wolf? I ain't buying that shit, man. To be honest with you, I'm not buying. It's like we didn't come from monkeys. I don't buy that shit.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I don't think that
Like
whole
Chris-
theory.
oh, sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Good to see you, Ragnar.
Please continue, Tim.
Sournato.
Well, let me cut in here real quick, if I may, Tim. And
Yeah.
Chuck, there's a thing I do as a hobby when I'm bored. Before I go to work, I'll play a little bit of Publishers Clearinghouse. You know, it's free tokens, and you take your tokens and you put in a bid for gift cards, or and plus the first screen is always Steve Harvey. Maybe they'll show up at your door with a check. Well, they also have a survey thing for these tokens, right? And in that survey thing, they want to know your race. So I'm always putting prefer not to answer. They want to know my gender, prefer not to answer. It's a lottery. Who cares what my information is? It's a lottery.
Yeah.
Just if you're going to give me a check, give me a check. If not, I'll watch this commercial and move on to the next commercial.
Everybody needs to fill that question with American.
Yeah, if they had an option, sometimes they don't have the option to. They just have other. So I just go with other.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd write it in.
That's funny.
Yeah, but the idea of the monkeys thing, like I totally agree that we did not come from monkeys. Like if you believe in any of the Abrahamic faiths, you know that Adam came down from heaven. Like there's no monkey in that story at all. Like so I'm trying to figure out like where the monkey came in.
Darwinism was created to put doubt in religious beliefs.
Well said, sir.
And we can go even deeper with the Abrahamic faiths. Abraham was a Chaldean, so it means he came from the area of Babylon and Persia, and they believed in humanoid, higher entities, if you want to go that whole Anunnaki route. So there's the Egyptians kind of had that too, other than they added the animal heads. But their deities had forms with human faces sometimes, and then sometimes the animal faces. So you could think of that as a headdress for their priests or priestesses, if you will. And a lot of that Egyptian and Babylonian stuff spilled into a lot of the different denominations today, just to a smaller degree. So that's, putting on that. But there's definitely something that influenced at least human genetics. If you look in Genesis and you do the thing where you read backwards from right to left, like they do in the Middle East, the verse "and God said" becomes DNA said God. And there's 26 instructions when those verses are there. So you realize that with the 26 chromosomes, God's modifying mankind each time. Sorry, a little esoteric stuff from Bishop Larry Gators. I yield.
Esoterica is awesome, man. Esoterica is awesome.
He yields.
Of course.
I know, man.
Yeah, remember, you're supposed to yield back when
I
you're...
know. I know. I forgot. I'm really high right now. I'm sorry. I just had to laugh. Just let
well,
you know.
It helps the appetites for tacos on a Tuesday night, man. So I can't blame you for
I got
that.
a cheese crisp waiting for me, man.
Nom 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 nom.
Nice.
I did lamb chops earlier. They were on clearance this morning at Ralph's, so I'm like $7 for some lamb chops. I'll bake those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Baked them and had
sorry.
melted Colby sliced cheese on top of that. That is one thing I will say is being pasty and pale. I like my cheese. That is true.
Hey, I like cheese too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm far from pasty.
You throw that cheese crisp in that air fryer, man.
Y'all just pissed me off because when I made my damn leftovers, I forgot to put my cheese on my damn food.
No! Is it because we did a photo shoot on your food tonight because it was Taco Tuesday?
It could have been.
Yes, and my homemade fajitas. I had some nice cheese. I got more left. Don't worry.
Yeah, it could have been that much better, AB.
I know. Look, cheese on a damn carb is good.
Yeah.
Throw the carb away.
Did we embarrass your taco? And that's why. Yeah, when we zoomed in and gave it, like its highlight, a photo shoot there.
One of y'all need banjo music, so here it is.
There we go.
Yeah, banjo music.
There we go.
Fun fact: the word banjo actually came from Africa, some African country. The word banjo.
Oh.
Hey, I got a recipe. I got a good recipe for carp. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, I know it. Go ahead.
You already know it. So you take your carp and you slit him open and you pull all his guts out and then fill the carp full of dog shit. And then you put it in the oven at 350 for an hour and 10 minutes. Pull it out, throw away the fish, and eat the dog shit.
Ours wasn't quite that bad, but it's like, clean it, put it on a piece of cedar plank, cook it, throw the fish away, and eat the damn piece of cedar.
Thank you.
That wasn't even funny. It was gross.
They didn't even talk about
Look,
pulling the mud vein.
You know, the
MTV,
big problem
a
with
carp.
Hang on,
A
everybody's
carp.
talking over each other.
I know. I'm sorry. A carp is just a giant goldfish, and they aren't worth a damn to eat. And people catch them and they try to eat them, and it's just a horrible thing.
Ken,
the
I'm
worst part of
thinking,
the carp
I'm
is the
thinking,
bone.
I'm
Sorry.
thinking my house would stink really, really bad.
Oh, it stink horrible.
Well, I was always taught that you just get rid of them. You know, like we yucky. You know, you get rid of them. Bam, bam, bam. You know, and you don't let them go back. You know,
Cooties.
I don't
They're
eat them.
bait fish.
Okay.
They're just bait fish, guys. You chop them up and use them for better fish, you know?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
have carp
That's
derbies out here, and people come from all over with bows, and they do these carp derbies, and I'm thankful because
Spearfishing.
they're nasty. Yeah, somebody, you know, introduced them over here, and yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, that
All
band
right.
there
Now,
got
the reality of this is, if anybody out there actually does eat a carp or a channel fish or a goldfish, for that matter, always pull the mud vein, not just the guts. Pull the mud vein too.
We call it the bloodline. We call it the bloodline.
Hey, Ron, and hey, Nut.
Okay,
The same thing.
I knew I met you, Camel Car, for a reason.
Just sharing this with you. I went to Bullhead City in Laughlin one year in the 90s as a teenager. It was a scout camping trip on Lake Mojave so we could get our water survival badge or whatever the heck it was. I still have it somewhere. Anyway, those carps were so bad you could literally reach over the edge of the boat by the docks and just smack them in the head. They were like just filling up the water back then. And this is 93 or 95, somewhere in that time period, I want to say. I was in high school at the time. I was just amazed that you could just smack around these fish because they are all so trained to, you know, just waiting around for the people coming out of the buffets or whatever on the lakefront there, that there was just food everywhere for them. And if you want to say invasive species,
Yeah.
that is like an invasive species thing when there's just thousands of them. And it's all you see is mouths right below the surface of the water. They're, you know, doing their little glop, glop, glop thing, you know?
Right.
Kind of like Kamala Harris, but that's another joke for another day.
They're very fun to catch, but they aren't worth a shit to eat. Just let them go.
Only thing to get rid of carp is snakehead, and they're more invasive. Then you can't have nothing there.
Yeah.
Bitches are nasty.
Yep.
They're
I've caught
We used
carp
to
on.
spear
I've
them
caught-
at night. We
I've
used to
caught
go
carp.
out with a frog spear in the middle of the night with a spotlight, and
Yeah,
we'd
frog
lay a
Jaeger.
little, lay a empty can of tuna fish or something on the shoreline. Which I'm telling you, a can of kippers will get you all the carp and snapping turtle you could dream of. But you set the can on the shore, and the oils go out into the water. Every one of them carp and every snapper in that lake's going to come to see what that is. And spear, you know, we get 4-foot carp here in Michigan in the middle of the night with a spear, and it was fun. And some people do eat them, but I was never fond of them. But there was such an abundance of them that's why we were getting them out of there when we could.
Have y'all ever heard of red worm liquid?
No.
It's similar to what he was saying. It's like it's basically like this liquid. I think it came from China or some shit, but I don't know if we should curse on this panel. My bad. I don't hear anybody cursing. But basically like it's like a liquid you just put in the water and literally fish just start going crazy. They all come up to the surface of the water. You don't need to even like use a reel anymore.
Pheromone?
Yeah, something like that. Like yeah.
Well, here in America, they made this illegal, but mullein plant, when it has the sprout that goes up at the top, the little seeds at the top, you grind those seeds down into a powder and throw it into a school of fish, and they'll just all float right up to the top. Stuns them. It doesn't kill them, but it's an illegal form of fishing. The natives do here.
That's kind of cheating.
Okay, maybe we should be talking about that if it's illegal. Just saying. You know what I mean? Because we are on a live stream, guys. We're not at the bar. We're not at the bar. I feel like we're at the bar and we're all having a good time.
We haven't even gotten to dynamite fishing yet, lady.
It's called chumming the fish when you put stuff in the water with liquid or chunks or whatever.
Chumming, yeah.
Just because it's
I gotta go with the frog Jaeger. standing on a log going across the creek and just wait for fish to come up. They were little brims, bluegills, shell crackers, or whatever. But I nailed them with a freaking frog gator.
I like the telephone. Works good for me.
Yep.
Crank
Gotta
it,
run
watch
your-
what. Yep. Crank it and watch what floats up.
Run your water off
I
the
mean,
sparkler
if
water.
the,
You just
if
throw
the
it out
world goes to shit and you're in a hurry, you can just take
do whatever.
M80s and wrap them with non-resin core solder, throw them in there, you'll have all you need.
Let's just change the subject. I think we're like flying too close to YouTube, son. We're on Chuck's channel. Just saying. I talked to Pushcraft. He always warns me on those keywords. Ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding.
The SHIT will get you anymore. And
Yeah, we can't even say that right now. It's just right now with Al Gore. He ain't got no rhythm, but he likes to shut channels down. So we got to divert through the waters, fly close to the YouTube sun, but not too close because we don't want to get burned.
Right.
So jump to Rumble.
I know. We can't even talk about the sickness that went through the nation 2 or 3 years ago.
B18.
What did you just say?
It didn't happen.
I'm turning you in.
Hang on.
If I may, guys,
Ken, you're probably right. You probably have a point because every live show I did, I got striked and they took it down and I can't even see it myself.
Yeah, and this is Chuck's channel, and until we all get established over at Rumble enough that we can all do that. Well, we're all gonna have to
He
jump.
encourages me, Tim. On the other hand,
Well, I'm a good little defense kitty. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, what the heck are you playing Trial
Yeah.
Warrior here?
Do me, I'm just like Rumble.
I was asking for a
We go to Rumble, and I think we'll be okay.
I was asking for a friend. That's it, Tim.
Well,
okay.
We're gonna go to Rumble, and then we'll be free. We'll be free from the bondages of YouTube.
well, there's something going on here, Tin. That little sun we've referenced that we're sometimes getting close to the orbit of, it's based in San Bruno, California. If their conduct has harmed anybody by them suppressing, say, cough syrup or suppressing horse paste, you can prove they've done wrong to people, and thus they could be liable for damages. Just saying.
Ooh.
So there is remedy, but the people got to chase it.
I take my horse paste once a month, every 30 days.
Yep,
I've got some.
Hey guys, I'm gonna jump off here, Chuck.
Good here.
Thank you for letting me come up. I gotta get me some nicotine, and then I'm gonna go get me a little nappy nap before we unload this bird. And y'all have a great evening, and yeah, all that good stuff. Gay day,
Peace out, my Georgia brother.
Thanks for coming up, man.
All right, bro.
AB is really awesome. Practical. You'll like it.
But,
Nice.
can you hear me?
What? I could barely hear you, Grumps.
Damn it! All right. Hey, do you have my contact on
Telegram?
Yeah. Yeah. Hit me up on Telegram. I want to talk to you about something.
Okay. Sounds good.
I don't have your link, so you gotta send me a message.
Okay. I can do that. And
Cool. Thanks.
can Peanut come
Telegram.
on, Chuck? Now that
Telegram for the cat with the tinfoil hat.
Peanut, I got the link out there, man.
Yeah, Tim. I want to talk to you about that thing we talked about before because I think now is the time to really put it out there with all this weird shit they're putting in the meat and whatnot.
Okay, we can talk about that then later. So that'd be cool.
Yep. All right. Cool. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, Grump.
No, Grumpy, don't go yet.
Likewise.
Darn it.
He has
Darn
a
it, I
hard
wanna
time with his mic.
I know, Tim, but I wanted Grumpy to stay up here. So it'd be you and Grumpy up here. And then when Peanut gets added, we could suggest that, hey, it's all you can eat chow mein at the local restaurant.
Cat and Peanut.
Peanut.
Hey, Tin, what's up? How you guys doing?
Peanut, introduce you to Practical Absolutes. He's on Chuck's panel tonight, and this is Chuck's panel, not mine. Sorry.
All right, on. Hey, Absolutes, how you doing?
What's up, Peanut? You guys are very
Hey.
warm and welcoming. Y'all awesome.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Try to acknowledge everybody.
Hey, Chuck, thanks for having me up, Chuck.
You're
Except
welcome.
Jason Schmidt. We don't acknowledge.
He's one of my favorites.
I know, I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
He's just been with us forever now.
Oh, he's cool. He's cool.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, it is disturbing, man. God. I'm sorry, I can't watch that. It's like it's so weird. Like, you know
What
what I mean?
was
Like,
that, Chuck? That was weird.
That's disconcerting.
Yeah.
That's DeSantis
In drag. That's, yeah. Ugh.
Oh, once I found out about the Country Music Awards, and I showed that tonight, I'm like, I think I had enough tonight on that one.
Oh, God, that hurt, man.
The Country Music Awards. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they're smashing the hell out of Nashville.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't see it, but I heard they had drag queens. Is that true?
Yeah, it
Showed
was.
it on Tin Show tonight.
It was
Yeah.
different.
golly,
I'm really not against that type of entertainment because coming from Seattle, the drag queen shows on Capitol Hill way back in the day, they've been there for like the last 20 years, but it was strictly an adult comedy club, alcohol,
Bingo.
obviously.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was fun to go to those every once in a while, but now, no,
No, they blew it all out of proportion, man.
yeah,
It's
You
not
know-
child entertainment.
no,
No.
it's adult nightclub acts. It's funny. Yeah, keep it in the
The
club.
thing is, now it isn't even funny to me.
No, it's not.
Because
That's
they
what it
took it
comes
too
down
far.
to, though. Hunt.
They
It's
took
like
it too far.
that they're forcing on everybody. You know, if someone wanted to go watch, teach his own, but like to force everything on everybody, that's what it's just kind of taking it too far.
That's what America's about. You're supposed to you be able
Choice.
to,
Yeah.
but you take it too far. Come on.
Well,
Right?
You fuck with the kids. Give me a break.
I know, right?
Before RuPaul got really big, he used to do circuits through Capitol Hill in Seattle, okay? And I went to a couple of those shows, and it was like, wow, okay, a lot of us did back then, this was late 90s, and it was fun, it's funny, but yeah, no.
It was back when they were grooming and you dug
I just
right
really
into
want
the
to know how
trap.
come a part of our population, let's say just the United States, I want to know how the 1% is always on the soapbox screaming the loudest.
That's what
I
I'm
want to know
saying.
how, when
Because
it's
they're given the microphone.
0.01%, how come it calls for the need of a third bathroom? I want to know why they get all the attention and it is put out and into our faces when they're actually a micro percentage of what's really going on here.
I got an answer.
And, all right, hold on. Let me say something real quick. And the 99% of us have to accommodate for that 1%, correct?
Right.
Correct.
I got an answer, though.
I'll
The
shut
answer-
up.
All right. The answer is this: is that it's all programming, because like what it is like they slowly have to like introduce things like the frog in the keeps getting cooked hotter and hotter in the pan or
Right.
whatever, and so so what like they start out with, for example, they start out with maybe a couple gay characters or whatever, you know what I mean, and then then keep ramping up, and you'd be amazed at like how much we're all programmed and stuff that you don't even realize. It's like, for example, people who have bacon and eggs for breakfast, that's just like automatic, like Pavlov's bell, bing, bacon and eggs, it's breakfast time. All that didn't used to be the way it was. It was like in the 50s or 40s or something like that. There was an ad campaign. They got everybody to eat think of bacon and eggs for breakfast because they're trying to
and
push
orange juice, and
Yeah,
that was
right.
with Anita Bryant and her big titties back then. Remember, boys? Come
Yeah,
on,
she had some
I
big
remember.
coconuts.
You remember Anita Bryant? She was the orange, queen too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nice coconuts.
So what happens is now, like, the percentage of these kids that are confused, and they're taught, to try different things and give the girl a truck, give the guy a dress or whatever. And so now it's gotten to be so thorough and so well working for them that there's way more percentage of people now that are in that framework or whatever than there was 20, 40, 50 whatever years ago. So that shows you how effective they are in programming
Right.
people to do whatever.
Indoctrination.
Yeah,
Word.
exactly.
Literally, if I can add to that, like it's people don't understand. Well, a lot of people don't understand just how powerful psychology is. You know, like one of their main tenets is to the powers that be is to cozy up with someone and then corrupt them slowly, just like you said.
Yeah,
you know,
you're
like
absolutely right.
You won't notice it if it's just stepwise,
Right.
you know. But if they give you
Exactly.
the whole thing, you're gonna be like, oh, I object to it.
Right.
You know?
Right. And of course you're gonna start out with a minority because they're trying to make people do stuff that's not natural to them. So it seems so you're right, it is a minority, but the fact of the matter is there is a minority of people like that are way up high, wealthy, rich. Like I'm not bashing anyone who's wealthy because I'm more happy for people. Good for you. I'm glad you're well off. But I'm talking about like the Rothschilds, the people that actually make the money. You know what I'm saying? Like that when you get that far up the food chain, they control. It's like I don't know what it is. 1% of everybody it's all controlled by this one tiny family, and so they're like the puppet masters that control all the world leaders and everything to make them do what they do. And so that's their brainwashing is to get us all to and like get herded into like whatever they're pushing us to,
The Orwellian future.
Well, and at this point, if these guys really want this stuff, we've made accommodations for the handicap, and I think that's good, with a lot of rules. So why don't we have a third bathroom? Why don't we have their Special Olympics? There's a lot of money to be made off those kind of sports. Why don't they just take advantage of that stuff and make their own little sorry, I'm going to yield back.
Thank you. But my answer is put a porta potty outside of the school for the they-thems or whatever. Have a boys and girls bathroom. It's already established in all these schools. You don't need to break down walls and build another bathroom. But put a porta potty out there, and for the one kid that might be at that school, he can go take a dump in privacy,
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. It's like ever since the 70s, like before then, at that moment, like transvestism was literally considered a mental illness. But on one particular year, yeah, it is still. But according to the DSM, whatever, like the psychology book.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so according to that, like literally, like it was taken off the list in one particular year in the 70s, where over 4,000 doctors and psychologists all came together on 1 year randomly and said, you know what, this is no longer mental illness. That sounds fishy to me. I'm not gonna lie. Agenda much?
Well,
Yeah,
if you look into something called deinstitutionalization, where they worldwide and in the United States too closed down all the mental health facilities all over the planet and released all of the mental patients out into the populace under a funding that supports them, whereas there used to be a different system in place. And if you look at where deinstitutionalization may have happened in your area, it may start making some sense to you too. That is a factor.
And it needs to come back.
Well, not in the way that it was, because it was a pretty evil system too.
Well,
Jay.
Bellevue.
Well, that's just a fraction of it. I mean, if you look into that, it's.
But here's one thing, guys. Around the 70s that you guys are noting, you also had the 60s, and out of that came a guy named Saul Alinsky with his rules for radicals.
Oh yeah.
And one of those rules is use your enemy's ethics, use their ethics and their codes against them. And since Western Christian civilization cares for its ill and its poor, just like the Muslims do, just like the Jewish people do, we care for our mentally ill. Other populations across the world just leave them in the street to babble. We actually give them alms, take them into hospitals, try to give them some kind of medical care. Well, rules for radicals, you want to upend the civilization before you do your socialist revolution. You get all the mentally ill to be the ones in power, and you make us treat every little illness, every little handicap like it's a priority. When, again, much of this, the stuff in the manuals get changed. There's been 5 editions of that manuals for mental health because they have no solid standard
Well, the
for what these
DSM-5,
terms
like,
are.
like
What
what
they do,
Absolute was talking about, right? So
yes,
yeah, I hear you, Sean. Sorry to interrupt.
yes, they've changed at least 5 times because they want to keep changing definitions and words to get rid of any opposition to the
That's a
agenda
good
that they
point.
are promoting.
Nice.
Oh my God, I love
If
that
you
point.
can't,
Yep.
if you can't define a woman, then you don't have women's rights. So what is a woman?
Yep. It's like the same thing. Like, for example, like that's what one of their main tactics is. You just change the definition of a word, and then you change the mindset because your thoughts are formulated upon what vocabulary you have. You know what I mean? And so, if, like, for example, someone who thinks in a different language, they're going to have a different way of thinking because of the words and vocabulary that language has or whatever, right? So, like, if you take certain words, like, for example, like in California, you can't use, regardless of what you think about the subject, you can't use the words in certain public institutions like the California university system, say things like illegal alien. You have to change it to undocumented worker.
Yep.
Right? It's so that way it's
Oh,
kind of it's a way to stifle any dialogue or debate or whatever.
You can use
Well,
those
say hello
words.
to
They just can't
Imur
attach
and
a
Garrett.
penalty.
Camo, hang on. Go ahead, Sean. Finish what you were saying with Peanut. Sorry.
Oh, you're free to use your God-given rights. Your freedom of speech exists regardless. You can go in any institution, use the words. It's just some of these people are trying to attach a penalty for your choice of words. Words are merely a vibration in the air, and at a bigger level, words are what you would call a lower form of magic. If I put words onto a red octagon and put it at an intersection, people are going to stop their cars. Or if I raise my hand up, with a thumb out, they're going to stop. Because that's the word they affiliate with those physical movements or that sign. So there is, when you redefine the words, you break the spells of the magic. So if there's no need to stop because they don't put limits, words, or definitions, then everything's a mess. And when people are in a state of a mess, a state of flux, they are much more easier to follow a leader who promises them safety or promises them a reward for following them. So this hard left swing we see, we may swing back the other way towards fascism, which is basically what we already have as it is globally. We have communism for the common people, and then we have fascism managers of the corporations who all get together at Davos. It's a hybrid system, what they call their third way. I yield. Go ahead, Primo.
What's funny about that is, like, you're talking about like words and magic and all that, and that's kind of like goes back to, I've heard this theory before where it's like the word spell is like you cast a spell or whatever, but you spell words, etc.
Yeah.
Right? And then, which goes back to like the Vikings and runes and other cultures like that, where they place a kind of a magical power or whatever with words, and I guess it kind of goes back to the Bible, I guess, too, if you think about it. Because with the beginning there was the word, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it is what it is. But but you said something else that was interesting. I forgot. I lost my train of thought though. But that was interesting thought though, Sean.
I touched on Rules for Radicals by Alinsky. I touched on the words and also changing the definitions to create flux so people seek stability in a leader or a scapegoat, whomever they can use.
If I were the devil.
What gets me is most of these people come up and want to go back to normal. When were we ever normal? What is
the word normal? Yeah, exactly. Normal does not exist. Like, we can't even say, like, in the hospital I work in, like, I learned that in medicine, like, you can't, like, tell your patients, oh, your vitals, your blood pressure is normal, your oxygen level is normal. You can't say that because that's, like, taboo in medicine because everybody has a different baseline,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Interesting.
Well, the other thing too is you can even tell someone XYZ is normal, but if your inflection is wonky, they're going to read that and stress out even more. So inflection is part of that. The tone of voice, the cadence. There's all kinds of things that go into human communication, and the people unite when we can communicate. Well, they don't want us to communicate, so they must disrupt language. Language and that area of thought, guys, that governs language, song, and our reproductive drive, it's all the same part of the brain. So they want to screw with that. Same part, too, we get our religious experience from. And for those who looked up what's called the fun, I'll use the word jab, but it's a word that starts with V. Look up the fundamental, VAC, et cetera, et cetera. that particular piece of medicine was made that they would inject you with chemicals that would go and destroy that part of your brain. And they intended it for use in the Middle East, which, as we know, everything in the war on terror was intended for us. So when people are getting their stuff and they're all kind of messed up and they're not there, maybe it wasn't a cure for a cough they were getting. Maybe it was, hey, these red areas, which happen to be the most susceptible or have the most stats coming out of side effects. Oh, gee, we're just killing off their elderly who are the most who believe in certain things the most and stand up for certain things the most, and will leave everyone else in the area compliant. They want a working slave class. I mean, this has been repeated since George Carlin and people long before him. If you have the strength of a male worker with a portable womb so it can create another worker, you got everything they want, as long as it doesn't have the brains to resist, just smart enough to turn the knobs and never question the diminishing wages.
I agree with that, and if I could add to that, like also the addition of Manchurian candidates, which like are controlled opposition, where like these individuals are like placed into these positions and whatnot, and then their followers look up to them. They're like, oh, they're the leaders, and then they get killed off by the numbers, or they get taken off the stage by the numbers, and then like literally. Like the people who were following them, now their leader is gone, and now now I can't go ahead and do this opposition anymore because I know what happens if I try to stand up. I know I'm gonna say something avant-garde, but literally that for Black people that describes Martin Luther King, for example. He was a CIA agent and a communist.
Oh, that's interesting to me. This whole because I think personally like I like let's go back to that other thing we were talking about language and whatnot, because like a lot of people they think racism automatically means white people or something, and I think that like when I listen to people who have like that like a dialogue about that, one of the things that people say is like, well, if you're racist, you can't be in power or whatever, because if you're in power, you're oppressive or this, that, and the other thing. And I think that is one of those examples of where people are mistranslating the word, because they're trying to add a whole definition that didn't really go along with that word. And that because racism doesn't necessarily mean you have to have power and that's the other thing. You just have to have an unusual hatred or whatever for another race, which is just ridiculous. But I think the reason why they do it that way is because then that way, because I think they want races to be mad at each other. It serves their goals or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So if they ascribe that extra tag onto by changing the definition of the word, then that means that people of other that they want to attack, that like a certain racial type that's no longer in fashion or whatever, that makes it easier because the powers that be, it has nothing to do with us on the bottom, like the normal people that will let us that word again, but like everyone who's just like a commoner, right? So for the elites who's playing all these games with all the people that don't really matter, right, to them, then what that does is it creates this thing where the class that they want to get rid of can't fight back, and defend themselves, because then they're considered the scarlet letter or whatever, and that all goes back to manipulating. Like I think Black people to some degree are given a different kind of programming than white people are given. And so I think it all serves the same ends, where it's like, I think the goal is to like put us all on a plateau where none of us have any power left, and then divide and conquer till it's like this one big slave class that's serving like minimized down to, I don't know, 1 million people, whatever the thing is on the Georgia Guidestones, you know what I'm saying? And so there's, because they don't care. And honestly, I don't think any of that stuff even really matters personally, because like
it's all division, Peanut. And imagine something like this. What about if we had a white entertainment channel? Or how about a white music channel?
Right.
All
exactly. That's my point, Carl. I agree. Right. It's designed that way because and then like white people are taught to think, hey, we got to feel guilty about everything. We're guilty for this. We're guilty for that. And to me, I see through it. I think it's just like I see the end goal where it's just a tool that they use to separate people and to make everyone think that they're all different. And honestly, I talk to people from all over the world and different, not just on YouTube, but different things. And when I found out is that like most people are really basically, when you really get down to it, the same. You know, and people don't want to be treated like they're different. They want to be treated like I'm Ted or Fred or whatever. You know what I mean? When you really get down to it, people aren't really all that different. It's just like the only things that are different really is some minor cultural things. But really, when you get down to it, people are all motivated by the same basic things. You know what I mean?
Has anybody here not heard of Paul Harvey, If I Were the Devil from 1965? Because you guys are making me think about this. Even the chat's making me think about it again.
Paul Harvey. Oh, yeah, that's a great speech. Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. I haven't heard of it.
Oh, you haven't heard it? Oh, yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of
Paul
prophetic.
Harvey.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Paul Harvey.
Paul Harvey. It's
If I Were the Devil.
1965, and the title is If I Were the Devil.
Yeah, that's the best. It's a great speech.
I may still have it if y'all want to hear it.
I would love to hear it, Chuck, if you think you can get away with it.
Yeah. Roll that.
Yeah,
beautiful
I don't
beat
think they're
footage.
gonna. I don't think they'll copyright strike that on you.
Let me
They
find.
never used to. They used to let people play it. Hawk play it. A lot of people
Been
play
a
it.
while, huh?
I'll give you something obscure if you want to look at it in terms of constitutional law and the purpose of Constitution. It was Davy Crockett's "Not Yours to Give" speech. Me and a friend were doing a dramatic reading of that between the farmer and Davy Crockett, what have you, and they gave his channel a strike. They claimed it was like it belonged to some historical society. It's like, no, that's a historical speech Davy Crockett gave in Congress. It belongs to everyone. So they are trying to screw with people when you teach that type of historical knowledge. We went back and found if you go to 2010 and before on YouTube, a lot of those historical type videos you can get away with posting now or replaying. But if it's anything of you that's modern and it's something they don't like, yeah, they will strike it. So the good news with Paul Harvey is he's pre-2010.
Has anyone ever? No, my bad. Please
Sorry.
go, Bonnie.
It's good to meet you.
Likewise.
Salutes. I'm glad you came up.
Thank
And
you.
that was Davy Crockett. What was it called?
Not Yours to Give. It's a speech that he gave regarding a conversation he had with a constituent who was a farmer. He had come out of D.C. and that farmer put him in check. And he at the end of it, he's like, you know what? I'm going to give your speech to everybody in Congress and remind them exactly how we're supposed to do things. And it basically made a local celebrity out of that farmer for that time. I believe Crockett was in the Senate specifically. I might be off on whether he's in the House of Representatives or the Senate, but it's one of those things where you're just like, holy smokes. You know, even back then, Congress was acting out of line, and it took the common people to put them in check. And some of the good people that were in Congress, you know, these days they'd be maybe our MTGs or our Jim Jordans or our Rand Pauls. You know, they're good to go. Real fast too, I had it's kind of a silly suggestion, but over on Tin's channel, I just realized we could take the Taco Tuesday nom nom nom, you know, soundbite, and then have the kitten purring right after that, and that'd be like the perfect story. Nom nom nom, eat the tacos, and then you purr. Just saying. 5 second purr after the nom noms. We got to do that like on the next chance we get, guys.
And thank you, Bushcraft, for creating those little captures for the show. We love them, don't we, Agent J?
They are awesome.
Bushcraft's cool.
And no joke, I do dance around to Tin's intro music that Crazy Irish put together.
Oh, yep. Intro.
I'll be getting to work, getting ready on my bike, and I start like diddy bopping while I'm packing my bag and getting stuff out of the fridge and all that.
That's how Chuck gets me is I can't help but to boogie to that one with Hillary Clinton and Comey in it.
Oh, that too. I actually traced that down and shared that on Facebook in a chat that was like ragging Trump all day, of course. I'm like, you know what? They need a rebuttal, so here you go.
Good to see you, Andy Jack.
Well, I appreciate everything that everyone does to help us on the channel because I don't know how to do a lot of that stuff, and and we're not monetized, so like, thank you, everyone.
I'm gonna mute while you play.
I'm just chilling, listening.
What are you
soaking
talking about?
it in.
Oh, and Ted, thank you for all you do for everybody.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You help out a lot of people.
Thank you, Tim.
I love you guys so much, and
We love you too, Tim.
we got to stick together. Shit's getting bad, but I think we're gonna make it through. I think we
got this.
everybody brings something to the table. That's why, whether it's Avengers Assemble or Patriots United or We the People, and I want to emphasize it's that too. Red Dawn, it's we the people, not we the president. So we got to step up and create that groundswell, just like that farmer did to Davy Crockett, and say, hey,
the only thing that's going to wake people up is shut down the internet. Shut the internet down.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to wake anybody up. Shut it all down.
They're trying.
Have you guys heard of this is director? It was this, I believe it was a former Navy SEAL. He was directing this movie called A Gray State or The Gray State.
Oh,
Anybody heard of it?
Oh, that's
and
a
how
movie.
that man, like that movie was never actually dropped. The documentary was released on A&E, I believe, but his family, everybody got killed, and his dog got killed. And they labeled it a murder suicide. And that was such BS. Like the trailer's on YouTube. Like you can see how he was literally saying that he was saying that the certain individuals, Catholics, Templars, individuals who were exactly specifically those individuals were like behind everything and whatnot, and how they're putting a mark of the beast on people. Exactly, they're putting a mark of the beast on people's wrist in order for them to live life, and like blacks, whites, and everybody had to come together and whatnot and fight the system, man.
Right. Oh, I remember when absolutely. I remember when I saw that trailer. I was so stoked. I was like, "Oh fuck yeah!" Sorry, I cut that out. Sorry,
yeah.
I can't help. I'm sorry, but it's like I was like so in for it.
Never heard of a custom peanut, huh?
Yeah. They're getting harsh on those rules. It's hard for me to get used to it.
No.
His line dropped.
But I was so happy about that. We lost. Oh, damn, that sucks. But anyway, it's like a trailer for like a dystopian. It's like a movie, like a regular movie about like what's going on in the world and all that. And then I guess all those people got killed and all that. But I really wanted to watch that. I was like really into it. But that kind of reminds me of this movie I'm trying to make. It's called it's not about me, but like it's called going to be called The Desolation of Desecration. And like I want to kind of shine some light on what's headed this way regarding the Bible and all that. Make it entertaining to try to wake people up.
Awesome.
Let me know if you need voice work.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'm waiting for some software and stuff to that's
always read the script before you just go blurting it out there if you let Peanut write it.
Just
it's not like that.
Ask me, because I never read the script, do I, Tin?
No.
You want to
come on? I winged it with Peanut the other night. It's all good.
Yeah, it was fun, right?
That was what March 17th or so.
Batman.
Yeah.
I hope it comes back out.
Come back.
Yeah, he was fun to talk to.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah,
where'd he go, man?
So
there he is.
I don't know what happened. I just got dropped as soon as I said it.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
One of us.
Sorry, half of my life I base on ECW chants.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Nice.
Welcome to the Mud House.
No, we're just.
So, Peanut, you're going to say to Absolute regarding the Gray movie you guys were just talking about, which I'm interested in learning a little bit more about that because I've heard of it, but I didn't get much out of the preview.
I'm not saying anything different than what Absolute was saying. He basically nailed it. All I'm saying is that I was really into it. I thought it was going to be a movie that's going to come out, which it was. But like Absolute was saying, all these people that were involved with it, like they went after him and got quote unquote suicided. You know what I mean? But it was like I think it was just gonna. I like movies and stuff because it presents information in a way which is easily digestible from people who normally wouldn't read a book or don't etc. So I thought there's ways some mediums have a different strong points to them than other things. Like for example, I remember I had a conversation with someone once about books are so much better than movies, and there is some truth in that. But they're different mediums, so it's really not a fair comparison. Because if, and they said, well, give me an example where the movie's better than the book. I said, well, The Wizard of Oz. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a great movie, for its time. It might be programming, etc., but that doesn't take away from its, its entertainment value. And so that, it's just a different medium where you don't have all the detail, but you're speaking visually, so it's a different thing. But it's easier for people to be entertained sometimes by a movie than reading a whole book, etc. So I thought
It can be totally the opposite too, like Tommy Knockers.
Tommy, okay. You think the book was better than? Was there a movie on that from Stephen King?
Well, there was a book on it, and then made a movie and changed the whole ending and everything. It was ridiculous.
Oh, that's true. A lot happened. That's pretty much par for the course. Though most of the time, like the movie's not as good as the book, etc. You know what I mean?
Here you guys go. I found it. I didn't find mine, but I found a copy of it. Sorry.
That's okay. I forgive you, Chuck.
I'm gonna mute while you play it so it doesn't echo.
All right.
Same.
Let me know if it does echo, and I'll mute.
If I were the devil. If I were the devil. If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey. Good day.
1965, right?
Wow.
No, 1965? Yikes, man.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Here you go,
I
Tim.
literally have goosebumps right now.
Oh. I have a question. What is it tomorrow that starts in Israel? Is it Passover? What was it?
Yeah.
Passover.
Should be
Okay.
should be starting pretty soon our time, right?
Okay.
Hey, you guys, I'm gonna go. But
It was nice. Peanut, it was great having you up.
oh, thanks.
Yeah, Peanut,
You
you're
know, it's
awesome,
like,
man.
really, I think you're awesome too. It's nice to meet you, Absolutes. And
Likewise.
yeah, that was a pleasure. And Sean, yeah, hit me up. We'll do that. And good to see you, Sean. Bonnie, have a great night.
Later, Nut.
Hey, later, Camo. Chuck, thank you for having me up.
You're
H&J,
welcome anytime, bro.
Taco, and and for everybody in chat, I wish you all fun to do.
Good night, dude.
All right, bye, guys. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Love it.
Yeah.
He's a mess.
Guess he didn't want down. I went to let him down, and he dug in. Wow.
Oh. Mine's asleep behind me.
Come on. I know what you want.
Yeah, that Pearl Harvey stuff is so deep. It's just like, wow. And he said that how many years ago? Like, wow. And then you're like,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He did one that was called If I Were God also, didn't he?
Yes.
He did. If God made a farmer, he did a lot of good ones, actually.
What if he was a jumper?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me these days. Nothing would surprise me.
I still believe there's jumpers somewhere, somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there's something.
Be happy.
And then you got these weird rings of sprites, you know, energy over Italy. Oh, right by Switzerland. Yeah, the border. Yeah, right
Yeah,
by
Paul Harvey's letter from God is 8.5 minutes long.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah, I can always listen to that, though.
Yeah.
Ten, I heard you talking about the sprites. You know about pixies and we heard of fairy rings. I actually found fairy rings in the forest before.
See, it's funny how they name a lot of that stuff up in space after mythological creatures, but I think that there's a possibility that I think there was some weird stuff here at one point, okay?
It was all swamp
In this
gas,
world,
man.
yeah.
It was all swamp gas.
Y'all ready?
Okay, let's all mute. Sorry. Oops.
From now on, I'm quoting an open letter from God. My dear children, and believe me, that is all of you, I consider myself a pretty patient guy. I mean, look at the Grand Canyon. It took millions of years to get it right. And about evolution, boy, nothing is slower than designing that whole Darwinian thing to take place, cell by cell and gene by gene. And I have been patient through your fashions, your civilizations, wars, and schemes, and the countless ways that you take me for granted until you get yourselves into big trouble again and again. I want to let you know about some of the things that started ticking me off. First of all, your religious rivalries are driving me up a wall. Enough already. Let's get one thing straight. These are your religions, not mine. I'm the whole enchilada. I'm beyond them all. Every one of your religions claims that there's only one of me, which, by the way, is absolutely true, but in the very next breath, each religion claims that it's my favorite one, and each claims its Bible was written personally by me, and that all of the other Bibles are man-made. Oh, me. How do I ever begin to put a stop to such complicated nonsense? All right. Listen up now. I am your father and mother, and I don't play favorites among my children. Also, I hate to break it to you, but I don't write. My longhand is awful, and I've always been more of a doer anyway. So all of your books, including those Bibles, were written by men and women. They were inspired men and women. They were remarkable people, but they also made mistakes here and there, and I made sure of that so that you would never trust a written word rather than your own living heart. You see, one human being, to me, even a bum on the street, is worth more than all of the holy books in the world. That's just the kind of a guy I am. My spirit is not an historical thing. It's alive right now, as fresh as your next breath. Holy books and religious rites are sacred and powerful, but they are not more so than the least of you. They were only meant to steer you in the right direction, not to keep you arguing with each other, and certainly not to keep you from trusting your own personal connection with me. Which brings me to my next point about your nonsense. You act like I need you and your religions to stick up for me or win souls. For my sake, please don't do me any favors. I can stand quite well on my own, thank you. I don't need you to defend me. I don't need constant credit. I just want you to be good to each other. And another thing, I don't get all worked up over money or politics, so stop dragging my name into your dramas. For example, I swear to me that I never threatened Oral Roberts. I never rode in any of Rajneesh's Rolls Royces, and I never told Pat Robertson to run for president. And I have never, ever had a conversation with Jim Baker or Jerry Falwell or Jimmy Swaggart. Of course, come Judgment Day, I certainly intend to. Now, the thing is, I want you to stop thinking of religion as some sort of a loyalty pledge to me. The true purpose of your religions is so that you can become more aware of me, not the other way around. Believe me, I know you already. I know what's in each of your hearts. And I love you anyway, with no strings attached. So lighten up and enjoy me. That's what religion's best for. What you seem to forget is how mysterious I am. You look at the petty differences in your scriptures and you say, well, if this is the truth, then that can't be. But instead of trying to figure out my paradoxes and unfathomable nature, which, by the way, you never will, why not open your hearts to the simple common threads of every religion? You know what I'm talking about. Play nice with each other. Love and respect everyone. Be kind. Even when life is scary or confusing, take courage and be of good cheer, for I'm always with you. And learn how to be quiet so that you can hear my still small voice. I don't like to shout. Leave the world a better place by living your life with dignity and gracefulness. For you are my own child. Hold back nothing from life. For the parts of you that can die surely will, and the parts that can't won't. So don't worry. Be happy. I stole that last line from Bobby McFerrin, but who gave it to him in the first place? Simple stuff now. Why do you keep making it so complicated? It's like you're always looking for an excuse to be upset. And I am very tired of your main excuse. Do you think I care whether you call me God or Yahweh or Jehovah, Allah, Wakatonka, Brahma, Father, Mother, even the void of Nirvana? Do you think I care which of my special children you feel closest to? Jesus, Mary, Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad, or any of the others? You can call me and my special ones any name you choose, if only you will go about my business of loving one another as I love you. How can you keep neglecting something so simple? No, I am not telling you to abandon your religions. Enjoy your religions. Honor them. Learn from them. Just as you should enjoy, honor, and learn from your parents. But do you walk around telling everyone that your parents are better than theirs? Your religion, like your parents, may always have the most special place in your heart. I don't mind that at all. And I don't want you to combine all of the great traditions into one big mess. Each religion is unique for a reason. Each has a unique style so that people can find the best path for themselves. But, my special children, the ones that your religions revolve around, all live in the same place, in my heart. And they get along perfectly, I assure you. The clergy must stop creating a myth of sibling rivalry where there is none. My blessed children of earth, the world has grown too small for your pervasive religious bigotries and confusion. The whole planet is now connected by air travel, satellite dishes, telephones, fax machines, rock concerts, diseases, and mutual needs and concerns. Get with the program. If you really want to help me celebrate the birthday of my son Jesus, then commit yourselves to figuring out how to feed your hungry and clothe your naked and protect your abused and shelter your poor. And just as important, make your own everyday life a shining example of kindness and good humor. I've given you all of the resources you need if only you abandon your fear of each other and begin living and loving and laughing together. Finally, my children everywhere, remember whose birthday you honor on what you call Christmas Day, December 25, and the fearlessness with which he chose to live and die. As I love him, so do I love each of you. Now, I am not really ticked off. Not really. I just wanted to grab your attention because I hate to see you suffer. But I gave you free will. So what can I do now other than try to influence you through reason, persuasion, and a little old-fashioned guilt and manipulation? After all, you know, I am the original Jewish mother. I just want you to be happy. And I'll sit in the dark. I really am. Indeed, I swear, with you always. Always. Trust in me. Your one and only God. End quote. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Amen.
Nice.
Joy and love.
Very powerful stuff. That guy spoke way back when.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the kind of stuff that I should have heard in school. But instead, when I was coming up, they want to teach us about all kind of BS. That's not that.
Yeah, when was that speech he did? And you got to remember that's just one man's writing
That was
down
the
his
80s.
thoughts, you know.
That one was later, way later.
Paul Harvey was amazing, though. He just put it out there.
Probably took him out too.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Right? I think Chuck took a break.
Try looking for another Paul Harvey.
I was trying to find
That was 63, and the other one was 65.
Oh no, the one he just did.
Well, absolutely makes
look
it great.
The one he just did, Chuck, if you listen, he references the song "Don't Worry, Be Happy" and all that. It was much later.
Yeah, that was the 80s. Harvey passed away, I believe, in the 90s or early 2000s.
They're saying they originally aired it in 63.
Yeah.
Not that one.
The original text of it, Carl, was in 63. He might have changed it as he got older, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Yeah. What's weird about that is my mom used to play on the car radio, and I was not into that as a kid, you know. But now,
I remember Dad listening to him.
Yeah, I remember I had to listen to him because Dad listened to him.
yeah.
Or you weren't listening to or there was nothing to listen to.
Yeah, what do you want to watch? Gunsmoke or All in the Family?
That's right, man. And you were the TV channel between channel 3 and 10 on Sundays. Oh, go back. I mean, it's commercial over here, so you'd have to flip it back for the old man to the other game, the NFC and the AFC football or baseball. Baseball was worse, man.
Yeah, our name was Remote.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we were channel changers.
And hold the antenna so that we get the.
That's right. And don't move.
Don't move.
Oh, that's a great picture. Oh,
Grab the foil. Hold that right there.
Yes.
That's no kidding either, man. That shit was real. And we didn't bitch. Because we knew if we bitch.
No.
Get no
Jay, I remember the very first remote control, and it was like, 67 or something when we got the TV. And it was one button, turn the TV on and off. And that's all it did.
We didn't even have that, man. That was the remote control.
Click. on, click off.
So you grab a pillow and just try to chill right in front of the TV, you know. So that's why our eyes are all bad.
And then our ears are bad from all the rock concerts we went to before they had a limit on the sound decibel.
Trying to.
I don't know about you guys, but I was told all my childhood to stay away from the TV, don't get too close. And now everybody's face is in the screen.
Right.
True.
Yep.
Ooh, choo-choo. Somebody's got a train. Hope it doesn't crash. Oh, I better not say that out loud again.
I think it's Chuck, and he's like right there.
I don't think it's me this time.
No, it's not me.
I saw that they found the black box. Well, it's the equivalent of the black boxes in the regular planes from the two Hawks, the Black Hawks that went down in Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
The list of names of the crews.
They haven't really talked much about that.
Mm-mm.
It was kind of
Jack, rest in peace, Paul Barkley. Buddy of mine, he was shot down in one of the two Black Hawk helicopters by our own friendly fire. It was a ridiculous story. He was Delta Force, counter-terrorism.
Gotta thank our vets.
Yeah. Thank our vets.
You know, someone in the chat was saying that, you know, that right now it feels like we're all watching a movie, what have you. Well, going back onto words and meanings, that is a double entendre, because in World War II we had the European theater and the Pacific theater. When someone's friendly to your nation, they're a good actor. When they're an enemy, they're a bad actor. So if the whole world's a stage, as Shakespeare put it, it's up to us to be the actors and act upon it and participate in the play.
Wow.
The only way people are gonna wake up is when this internet shuts down and their power shuts down.
It's going to shut down too. Like
That's
you
it.
keep pushing all this EV nonsense. Like literally, it was this thing that I saw. It was an article I read from University of Minnesota, I believe. This mathematician had tried to figure out how much energy or electricity it would take to make the entire state of Minnesota EV or like electrified and stuff on the grid. And basically, it was impossible. Basically, like for that state alone, it would use like 1/3 of the world's copper supply. It used like 100% of the world's cobalt supply, et cetera, et cetera. There's no way it could work.
Well, that's if there's even people in Minnesota left. They just had a train crash this last, right before this weekend started. That was, you know, another train derailment. And again, if you poison all the food, well, the people will die off. So you don't really need to worry about giving them so much energy when it's just a few elites that'll have their lit up Capitol buildings and everybody else will be crawling in darkness.
Sick world.
But think about it. That speech a moment ago. If I were the devil and the prince of darkness, I'd have the whole world wrapped in darkness or enveloped in darkness. They want us to look like North Korea at night when you have that satellite photo where South Korea is all glowing in the satellites, but North Korea has like two little pinpricks, and that's it.
And maybe that's why, isn't there a scripture? Keep the oil, keep your lamps filled with oil or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had the virgins that kept their oil for their lamps, and then you also have in the tradition of the menorah for Hanukkah, you know, you spread the oil out over those 8 nights, and miraculously it lasts longer than it should have because they were, you know, attentive and spiritual about what they were doing. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in all those religions, as the last speech we just played indicated. You know, each of the gods and systems teach people different paths and ways to enlightenment, but folks have got to calm down, take a moment, you know, go find a quiet place and pray, and whatever technique they use to meditate with, you know. I know Agent Jay's thinking about a joke or two that I'm thinking about.
Oh, no, not at all.
I'm gonna
But I could if you want
I'm
me
gonna
to.
say,
But I get it.
Scott, if that's how you want to meditate, I
No,
suppose
man,
that
I
works
was
too.
being, I was just, I was just, I'm just chilling. Sorry, guys.
I'm just
No
here.
problem.
Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here.
But yeah, for practical's benefit, because he has the benefit and the youth, the perk of having youth on his side. When we go back through this history, these folks, whether the Khazarians, whether they're the British Royals, whether they are the Triads, and these other shot callers, as I like to refer to them, they've had this mindset where they plan in centuries, and essentially, when you hear about how they, mess with their own kids, etc., that's because they're basically telling these kids, you're going to do it this way, or the family legacies will collapse. So they basically beat them into submission until by the time they're adults, they're equally cold-hearted and pass on that abuse to the next generation, in which they will manage those mutual funds and trust funds on top of their political influence the exact same way. And their big grand plan serving their dark master is to try and reduce world population, or to create the illusion of scarcity, so at least the people will reduce the populations on their behalf. They won't kill you, but they'll trick you into killing yourself.
Yep.
That's an old
exactly.
Middle Eastern trick. Is you don't kill the person, but you lock them in a room with a snake, and you say, hey, if the snake kills him, it's up to God.
It's
Yeah.
like
Damn it.
also, it's
I knew
also
that was
particular
going to happen to me.
trick.
facts. It's also the idea of the art imitates life too. Like they have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. Like in order for their mumbo jumbo magic to work. It's all part of the hypnosis trick that they got going on, and their left hand path, which they chose. Like all the Abrahamic faiths are considered to be the right hand path. Even like Hinduism and some of the other polytheistic religions, they're considered to be the right hand path by those who are considered Khazarian to follow those paths of the magicians and the soothsayers, etc. They bunch us all together into one side, and they say they're the other side.
Yep. A good example as a way to push back, and also there is always a deliverer. Look at the story of King Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel's three friends that he threw into the furnace, and then Nebuchadnezzar looks in there and sees a fourth person. It's like when these are there's historical proof of Nebuchadnezzar, et cetera, et cetera. And yet you will have colleges teaching that all these books put together over time are works of fiction. It's like, no, just as it's thought that some of these ancient deities may have been warlords for their specific tribes, or different Egyptian gods may have been names of different pharaohs, etc. These things, if they do not come about because of real people, they come about because of certain cultural templates. The old creepy guy at the castle who kidnapped the virgins and has, basically becomes the template for Count Dracula.
Nebuchadnezzar,
the witch in the forest.
King of Babylon when they built the tower?
That might be Nimrod. Nebuchadnezzar was
right.
a different king of Babylon. But, the template of the old witch in the woods with the apple, shiny apple, here, Snow White, take a bite. Well, doesn't that sound like these old school teachers with their stooped over posture, showing the kids shiny, pretty things, only to poison them? The template, the archetypes are there. And they repeat throughout culture.
It wasn't. I understand it wasn't even an apple that Eve gave Adam.
Well, that's Eve. In Snow White's case.
Yeah, look at the garden.
Snow White supposedly based on a. Yeah, well, Disney, brought the apple into Snow White, probably knowing the allusion, and I'm saying Allusion, to the Garden of Eden story. But there supposedly was, in Germanic lore, a real Snow White and some real coal miners who looked after her or whatever. And I'm not sure if the apple's in the original telling of the myth, but they also used to call the tomato the passion fruit, what have you, and they still have passion fruits. and they had different qualities, attributed to these different apples, pears, tomatoes, passion fruits, etc. Golden apples were dropped, I believe, either by Diana or Aphrodite, one of the Greek goddesses, and they had a whole thing, of people chasing after those golden apples because supposedly that's what they got their nectar from that made them immortal. So, all these little things are out there, and the trick for us as people is to be aware when someone's using these legends or symbols to lead your thoughts one way, why do they want to lead your thoughts that way? For mindless entertainment is one thing, but to manipulate a whole culture and generation, well, that's simply
Even
MK
from
Ultra on a big
the
scale.
tree of knowledge, like the Apple computer.
Bingo.
Yeah, and then you figure the best way to look at it, if somebody's knocking at your front door, you better be paying attention to your back window.
It's amazing
Well said. Great wisdom.
how many people think that the Earth is overpopulated. I've heard several people saying that lately, and it's like, no, it's not.
Google the total acreage of land mass on the planet, and then figure out how much land each person on the planet. Let's say there's 7 billion, like they say. There's 7 to 9 billion people on the planet, and see if it fits. See how much land there is for each individual person on this planet.
So, Carl, that's actually a great point because it was this video I saw from, I want to say it's infographics on YouTube. I didn't corroborate this evidence to double check it, but I should have trusted but verified, but I didn't verify. But they said that every family on this planet could live side by side and have a house with a front yard and a backyard the size of Texas. So,
don't you think it's a little odd to build towers that you could fall out of and die, that could collapse on you and die, that could burn and kill everybody, but they call it shelter? I mean, to me, for humans to populate in a small area in cities, you look back in history, it doesn't work out too well, especially if you build on deltas or fault lines or something. It seems counterproductive to the human race, the way that we populate this earth. It's not natural. We lost a connection with the planet. Cities are not natural.
Well, cities were the attempts of the elites to get the populations back under control and centralized, just like we had all these revolts in Europe and people got off the farms. Well, they called the farms communes and got everyone to believe that if they all shared, they could get back on the farm and there would be no one, of course, managing it and everyone would get paid equally. Oh, whoops. They developed managers anyway who went right back to paying the royals. In this case of cities are just the hubs for their trade. And they figured, hey, we'll control these people by making them dependent on a city lifestyle where without trade, they don't know how to live on their own. And between the two, they figured, yeah, you know what? Cities are more effective to control people. So they decided to box them in. If you've read up on Thomas Malthus and also on the experiments they've done with rodents, when you pack a bunch of people together, just like the rodents, they start getting, a little antsy. And then they start not just becoming effeminate, but they also will cannibalize the young of each other. And that's what we're kind of seeing out there.
Universe 25. You're talking about stuff like Universe 25.
Someone the other night was talking about the secret of NIM on Bonnie's channel, the National Institute of Mental Health.
Yeah.
It was about all these rodents that were, being bred.
I wonder who
and sure enough, they all turn on each other.
What kind of crazy person would talk about stuff like that?
I'm drawing a blank. Bonnie, which guest of yours was that?
The one above you that keeps talking. Carl.
Yeah, sorry if I blank on some names. When it gets late at night, even I get a little drowsy or sleepy,
No, I understand. We all do.
Oh, and Bonnie, I sent something to your inbox, so message received, and I've also sent on to some other blind carbon copied emails. So
Yes.
those are the more higher up the food chain type folks that I'm asking.
I saw that and much appreciated.
So,
Thank you.
well, that's what we got to do is help each other out.
Yes.
My problem for me is I don't have too much of a network in Texas.
I don't know. Texas is kind of stepping up in the big cities, and I'm seeing so much coming out of Dallas for the good. Austin and Houston are the ones we need to work on, I guess. San Antonio, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, another way to look that
Houston.
up. Mouse utopia, Indy.
Yeah, bear with me here.
I don't think there's any fix in Houston.
Especially after they've been taking all them loads down there.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. We don't want the waste here. Let's just take it down here to Houston. What? Have you heard if they have done anything with that? Because the last I heard, they had it just sitting in barrels waiting for the okay.
That's a lot of barrels.
Yes. And that's, I don't know what they did in Michigan either, if they dropped it or if
I
it's
don't
just
know. Anybody seen anything recent on all those coffin liners stacked up all over the country?
the what lines?
The coffin liners, black plastic tubs designed to hold coffins, but they could be used for just bodies. And they were stacked by the thousand, tens of thousands, near railroads and all over America that were popping up. Jesse Ventura did a thing on this years ago, but I haven't seen anything recent. I just wonder if anybody in the community's seen anything current on those stacks.
Carl Anti said that to make area of each person 1 square meter, we would need an area of about 8,100 kilometers.
Wait, say that first part again, Chuck.
To make the area of each person 1 square meter, we would need an area of about 8,100 kilometers. That's what Anti just put in there.
Okay, I'm not real good with measurements. How big is the kilometer?
I need a Canadian to figure this out.
I'm too high right now, and I'm just listening.
Well, to clarify on the comment from Practical earlier, it's actually more defined than what was on the infographic show. It's not every family in Texas. It's the whole world population could fit into, drumroll, 1 county in Texas. So not even the whole state, folks. The human population, they're condensed into the cities, and that makes us think there's more of us, just like when the media zooms in real close on 3 or 4 people, dozens of protesters turned out and set a fire. In reality, it's, 1 provocateur and the 3 protesters where the camera zoomed in, but you augment the message and then you get the copycat effect elsewhere.
Kind of like in January, that all that, there was like everybody was acting up. No, majority of people were standing telling people, don't do this, don't go up there, don't.
Exactly. Welcome to the new world. To the new world.
They have a what was I going to say? Because it relates to this, the scarcity issue. Them trying to brainwash us with the idea of scarcity. They just had in scientific journals a release that they discovered that oil replenishes itself naturally, which most of us who are rational realize this. So, if oil is a naturally replenishing substance coming out of the earth, how is it there is scarcity of oil?
I'm putting a timeout to that. When I grew up, oil came from frickin' dinosaurs who died in the dinosaur age, okay? And we dug the shit out of the ground and it came from their bones. That's what I grew up learning,
We have massive resources right under our feet. Coal.
So That's
oil,
what
we have natural gas, and
But,
all these regulations and red tape keeps us from getting ahead of it.
but for
Well, yeah,
real,
that's what Texas is known for, the oil. There's oil
dinosaur
everywhere.
bones.
Hey, Elaine.
Well, we do have dinosaur tracks, but I haven't seen any bones around.
Someone should have told all those Japanese whalers then they're going after They're going after whales instead of dinosaurs. Wrong animals, man.
They lied to
Killing
us.
Godzilla.
They lied to us.
No way.
Well, think about that.
They wouldn't do that.
Godzilla would be so much fuel for them, you know?
No
They
way.
could plug him into a
I've always
reactor or
wondered how
something.
many fucking dinosaurs were here. We're burning a lot of fuel.
They didn't lie to us. I heard them say it on TV.
Oh,
Yeah, I watched the Flintstones.
Yeah.
Y'all are hilarious.
No, that was Jet.
Well,
That
let me
was
throw
old
something at you.
Jethro.
In China, they call them. Sorry about that, Jay. I was going to say in China they call them fossils dragon bones. So if one were to say there were dragons, and we got Komodo dragons, you know, we got the leviathans in Africa, aka and the what was the crocodile, basically the saltwater crocs. You know, we still got some critters. Maybe we can grind them up over a few thousand years and turn them into pulp that we use for burning. Just saying.
I don't know. That's what trying to help me out here.
So are you trying to tell me that dinosaurs might just be dragons?
Or oil.
Or oil.
Or
both.
Thank you, Wendy.
Hey, did y'all see that article post? I think it was a couple of years ago though, and I think it was China. They claimed to have cloned a dinosaur from a small dinosaur from finding some DNA or something.
Yeah, it was a woolly mammoth, wasn't it?
Nah, it was actually a reptilian dinosaur type of thing. It looked like a bird-like reptile thing.
Oh, like Jurassic Park shit?
Yeah, they
it was
modified
a small
chicken DNA.
creature. Yep.
Wow.
Well, I've seen
You
where
turn off
they.
the DNA, or you activate the DNA, you grow the tail, and it loses the feathers. They basically made GMO dinosaurs that were chicken size out of chickens. Even the teeth started coming back in the beak. It's kind of disgusting, but there's no video of it.
We were talking about chickens tonight earlier. Oh no.
The raptors evolved into birds, so
So chicken was a dinosaur.
But I've seen where they've been noticing prehistoric creatures, birds, whatever, in different areas, kind of popping up. So you think it's cloned?
Could be. I mean, birds are technically
Well,
reptiles.
they've been
also.
They have a project to clone the mammoth and bring the mammoth back just because they think they can do it. And they just had I believe it was a Siberian mammoth that they thawed out, and they went ahead and made it into lunch or whatever, you know? They do that on occasion up there. You get something in the permafrost, and the meat is still edible.
Yeah.
Get your woolly mammoth burger.
Today. Come on, Jen.
I can't do it. I'm listening.
We still have some buffalo you can see.
And speaking of which, I've had buffalo beef. That is really good. The bison that we raise out here in the States. I mean, go to a little grocery store, get a little 1 pound packet. That's a fill-in burger, let me tell you.
I love that stuff. Buffalo too.
Yep, all grass-fed.
Be able to make tacos out of them.
We have a
bison
all-game dinner.
Buffalo taco.
Extra lean. Because isn't buffalo lean? At least the buffalo burger I had one time, it was really lean.
Yeah.
You guys know they actually keep a herd of buffalo at Camp Pendleton. You can be driving along in your Humvee at night. You just have to stop because you see the glint of their eyes. If you raise your lights up on your Humvee, and oh my gosh, there's 15 in the road.
Did you go
And,
look above the canyon walls? Strong eyes did blow. It was the leader of the land, baby. Oh my God, it's the great white buffalo. Look out! Look out! Did you sing that when you saw that?
No, we just stayed very quiet because the male ones have horns, and last thing you want to do is have them stampede into your Humvee when you got, the whole convoy behind you, what have you.
Good
Oh
point.
crap!
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, they get protective like elephants. And they'll charge you too if there's females around, especially in heat or babies.
Yes, sir. And that's the other thing. When you're on Pendleton or any of the military bases, just like college campuses, all the animals are protected species. So that's one of our gags is we could be Marines out in the field. You shoot a jackrabbit and you can get written up on charges for that because it's, supposed to be protected wildlife and you need a permit just like at a campground. Kind of lame when you think about it. We're supposed to be the guys out there eating snakes and surviving and this, that, and the other. And it's like, wow, we can't even hunt what's around us.
Ooh.
Literally, imagine going to military court over killing a squirrel. What?
Yeah. No, they want you to eat the bag, Sean.
These days, they'll do it. And trust me, the MRE with the salt levels and everything, you wonder why so many veterans are diabetic or have hypertension in the heart. Look at the salt and the MREs and the sugar levels.
Yes.
Hey man, I will trade you all my peanut butters for the cheese ones, and anything you want for one of those vanilla cakes, pound cake.
No,
Like
it's
the
all about
chicken
the
pesto?
beef.
Huh?
It's all about the chili mac, man.
That was
Right,
good.
done,
Yeah, the chicken
done.
pesto's better though. I like the chicken pesto.
Years
You guys
ago,
know
it
how
used
to
to be the chicken a la king, but I don't even know if they put them in them anymore.
Oh,
You know how to
Chuck,
make the
now they
pudding,
got
right?
menus you wouldn't believe. They've got ethnic style menus. They've got, I have seen it all. You can get pizza and tacos. You can get all kinds of stuff in an MRE nowadays.
Yeah, they got
Say
kosher.
tacos.
They got kosher MREs and they got halal MREs.
With
Yep.
the
You ever
sweet
seen the
bag.
Arctic ones? I really like them white pouches. The big, fat, white Arctic ones are awesome. They got a bunch of nuts and raisins and all kinds of good stuff. They're like twice as big as a regular MRE.
With the bugs. Not even
I'll
there.
give you a thing though. In the '90s, back in the Clinton era, you basically had to make your own stuff with what's in the MRE. So you pop open the crackers, take the cocoa powder, take the sugar pack, and then take your canteen of water, mix that all together, and you had chocolate pudding, quote unquote. Funny,
Yeah.
it just tasted to me like terribly flavored wet crackers.
I've seen some weird stuff, man. One of my buddies got out of the first Gulf War, and we were out camping, and I watched what he was doing. He was making a sandwich, and he poured like 3 of those dried coffee packets on his sandwich, and just was eating it like nothing was happening. I'm like, he had a coffee sandwich, and he acted like it was the most normal thing ever.
Yeah, somebody wanted his caffeine.
Chuck,
Yo,
I gotta bounce because it's almost midnight here, and sometimes I turn into a pumpkin. I never know. So
Yeah, I'm pumpkining right now myself.
yeah,
Kid.
and thank you for having me up on the panel, and I'll send you the link, and we'll see you tomorrow night, Chuck, Bonnie.
Yes.
All right, guys.
And it was really
Thank you
nice
for having me up.
meeting you,
Thank
Practical
you.
Absolutes, and I hope you come over to the channel, and maybe we could get you up on our panel as a guest one night. That'd be kind of cool.
Nice.
That'd
I'm
be
definitely
awesome.
looking forward to being around. You guys are awesome.
Right
Well,
on.
we think you are too. So peace out, you guys, and we'll see you guys. And Jay, we'll see you. And Jay and I will
Taco.
see you tomorrow. Taco.
Manana, y'all.
Good night.
They just bounce.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to follow suit also. Y'all have a great night. I'm definitely happy that I found this channel and also Tim's channel, and I definitely plan on being around more.
All right, welcome. Thanks for coming up, bud.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
You have a good evening.
And
You too.
definitely practical. You found a lot of knowledge here. We will share it because we don't bogart that stuff.
Awesome, man. I love that, man. All right, see y'all later.
Yep.
Later, bud.
Good night.
God bless.
I guess we'll wrap it up, y'all.
And then there was 4.
Much love out there, everybody. Y'all get your closing arguments if you want, or speeches, or
Well, all I can say is Thursday night, guys. Go ahead, Bonnie. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just saying, I know
Good night,
nothing.
everybody.
No, go ahead, Sean.
Oh, no, just extending the usual invite, national-assembly.net, Thursday night, free conference call, 6 p.m. Pacific time. I believe that makes it around 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock Eastern time. Just get the app, dial in, listen, check the website out. If you like what you are learning, learn it, apply it, repeat.
Okay, wait. That's what time?
6 p.m. Pacific for me on Thursday nights, and for you guys, it might
It'd
be a
be
different time
8
zone. You're in Texas. That's Central, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
And then
2 hour difference.
Camo.
8 p.m.
I left-
us in Camo would be 9 p.m.
Yeah, and I left a website for Camo in the chat here in the StreamYard for him to look up. More his area.
Can somebody grab that and send it to me? I can't pick nothing up out of the chat, so I can't even type in regular chat when I'm on this thing. I'd be in on that.
Oh, okay. You want to grab a pen and paper? I can have you write it down real fast.
I'm sending it to him through Facebook.
We appreciate that, Chuck.
You're welcome.
But anyway, we got to get together, folks. If you notice, now we're going to have eyes on a trial. So people are going to start learning about the stuff I've been babbling about real fast here, real fast and heavy. You know, we're a nation of laws, right? Not a nation of men. Well, people better start learning their laws. So
Yes.
That's where I'll leave that. And I'll close it with saying, make sure they're godly laws in the first place.
Amen. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thanks for coming up, bud. Welcome anytime.
Yep. I'm gonna mute myself while you guys close out.
Bonnie and Carl, you got any last words?
My last words would be yeehaw!
Goodness. Y'all in chat, have a blessed night. Much love.
Much love, everybody. Teach somebody, show somebody, help somebody. You guys have a blessed night. Thanks for coming. Good night.